If you want to develop and maintain a physique like this your whole life and feel amazing and healthy, whether or not you're a woman or man at any age, then do the following things. Number one, let's talk about exercise. So you're going to have to train, and let's look at this the scientific way. So by science, if you want to develop muscle, you need to train each of your muscle groups 3 times a week. And it's going to have to be some kind of a resistant training where you're lifting weight, where you're taking your last set to failure, because otherwise your muscles don't get stimulated to grow. So you're going to have to lift weights, heavy weights, about 3 times a week for each of the muscle groups. So you need to come up with some kind of an exercise program that involves compound training, for example, squats, bench press, curls, shoulder exercises, things like that, where you're going to exercise each of your muscle groups 3 times a week, like I said. And this is what's going to grow your muscles, so you're going to be stronger and you're also going to look better. Now, a lot of you always want to look more toned. Well, just remember, looking more toned involves growing your muscle and reducing your body fat. You can't just reduce your body fat just by exercising. That actually happens in the kitchen with your diet. So you're going to have to get your diet squared away too, and make sure that you get all of your carbohydrate, fats, and protein intake ideal. And you want to get protein about 1 gram per pound of body weight for your total protein intake for the day. It's also smart to supplement some creatine, because sarcopenia, which is muscle loss, is very much a real thing after age 30. So you should be taking probably about 2 to 3 grams of creatine every single day. The other form of exercise that I recommend is what's going to make you more flexible, which is calisthenics. Calisthenics basically just push-ups, also pull-ups, and those body weight exercises, and those are really good for stretching as well as developing very, very strong muscles as well as flexibility that's going to reduce your chances of injuries. So I like to combine my exercises between weight training 3 times a week with full body exercises, as well as calisthenics about 1 to twice a week, for also power, strength, and flexibility. Now, the third aspect of your fitness training is going to be cardio. And remember, doing cardio is the enemy of muscle. Look at marathon runners versus sprinters. Marathon runners are skinny, they don't have any muscle. So the more cardio you do, the more muscle you're going to lose, because your body wants to get rid of the most energy depleting tissue, which is your brain and your muscles. And you're going to lose muscle if you do crazy amount of cardio. But you still want to do some cardio to have your heart racing as well as some cardiac health. And I recommend doing that by doing power walks as well as sprints. So what you want to do for cardio is just do some sprints. You can do it on a treadmill, or you can do Stairmasters, as well as you can do daily walks in the park. So as a summary, now you got weight training, you got calisthenics, and you got some cardio in forms of about 15 minutes of walks. 15 minutes of sprints, as well as maybe a Stairmaster, a few times, maybe a couple times a week, as well as some walks in the park, maybe a half hour a day. The fourth very important aspect of it is actually sleep. You want to make sure that you sleep about 8 hours a day, and because if you don't get your sleep and you don't get your rest, you're not going to see any results. Poor sleep is going to mess up your hormones, and you're not going to see any results if you don't get adequate sleep. And I would keep it between 7 to 9 hours a day. The fifth one is actually alcohol consumption, and I know I got a lot of shit for this, but I don't think you should drink alcohol, because it's really the enemy of fitness as well as mental health. Drinking alcohol is really bad for your sleep too. So it just really messes up your hormones, your sleep schedule, as well as your exercise schedule. So I'm under the opinion that I don't think you should drink any alcohol. It's up to you what you decide to do, and I get a lot of crap for this when I say this, but I haven't had any alcohol in 8 years, and I feel amazing, and I don't miss it at all. The sixth point is actually your hormone balance, and this is where sleep and alcohol comes in, because poor sleep as well as alcohol consumption is the worst enemy of hormone balance. But if you're at the age where your hormones are out of whack, you want to make sure that you see an endocrinologist or a male doctor, and you get your hormones balanced as well. One thing you should not forget is your muscle is never going to grow if you keep doing the exercises what you can already do. So you really need to push your muscles to a point of failure where you can't do any more reps. So it's very important that over time you add more weights or more reps, and you push your muscles to a point where they just cannot do any more work, which is called failure. So the last set, or your last rep in a set, should be to a point where you just cannot do any more exercises and you basically failed. And you want to, according to research, it should be between 8 to 12 reps. So you should be failing at about the 8 to 12 rep. And don't underestimate the value of training to failure, because, for example, I have a friend who's been training for 25 years with weights, and he looks the same, and he looks kind of out of shape still, and he trains with weights 3 times a week, but he's not making any progress. He's not making any progress because he picks up the 10-pound dumbbells, which he's been lifting for 25 years, and he just keeps going through the exercise and not pushing his muscles to failure. So he just keep lifting what he can already lift, so there's no reason for his muscles to grow. Another big part of this process is actually patience, because this is going to be delayed gratification. You're not going to see results in 2 weeks, but you are going to see results in about 6 months, and definitely in a year. So you have to be patient and compare yourself where you were a year ago and a month ago and 3 months ago, and not comparing yourself to other people in the gym. The other thing I like about this form of training that I teach is you can do these exercises at home. You don't need to have a gym membership. If you don't have money, you can do calisthenics at home or at the park. You can buy dumbbells very, very cheap at a used sporting good or even a garage sale, but you can get weights very easily. You can even get resistance bands. You can get a pull-up bar for about $40 at any used sporting goods store or Amazon. So a lot of these exercises, you can do it at the comfort of your home, or you can go to the park, or you can get a very cheap gym membership and do it there. The other important aspect of this with the sleep is I would determine what's the earliest you have to get up in a week, and I make that time where you get up every day at the same time. So if you have to be up at the earliest at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, I would just simply get up at 6 o'clock every single day, so that way you can keep your sleep schedule in a normal rhythm. And I promise you, if you do these things, you're going to have a great physique at any age, whether or not you're man or woman, kid or adult. And it doesn't matter, you're going to feel really great, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be less likely to get injured, as well as less likely to develop different diseases, for example, diabetes. And I can promise you, after doing this for about 6 months to a year, you're going to start getting compliments, and people are going to come up to you to what have you been doing, you look better, and it's going to make you feel a whole hell of a lot better. So if you feel depressed and down about yourself, I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself and about your life just by doing these simple things.